Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Weather Studios with your weather update here on your January the 26th, 2026. And boy, was it cold out there today. Brr. Just got a bit of a wind chill and a bite to the air. I actually had some snow flurries around North Georgia as well, but we're in store for the coldest temperatures of the season for tonight. And if you think it's cold now, it may be colder again this weekend, and we're throwing around that little S word again. I'm going to show you a reason why here in just a second. Now, before we get into this full report, if you live anywhere across North Georgia, again, please make this part of your YouTube feed. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, and very important, if you want to get the information, make sure you hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content, because if you don't, YouTube won't let you know about it. Just the way it works. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the broadcast as we're looking at a gorgeous afternoon, although it's cold up in Dahlonega. A lot of places very chilly. I saw a report just a little while ago, even at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Such was sitting at 16 degrees. So it is very cold out there, to say the least. Lake Lanier showing that wind out there. That's giving a little more bite to the air. Wind chills down to the teens and 20s. And we're in store for a very cold night here all across North Georgia. Now, as a result, and the reason why I got the yellow up back there is we do have a cold weather advisory for tonight, as we're going to see the coldest temperatures of the season. A lot of single digits out there, and enough wind where those wind chills to be down near zero in some cases, maybe even below zero. It's going to be quite nippy to start your day going into your Tuesday. Now, local radar, it is all clear. We still have some power outages out there, about 21,000 there across Georgia. Of course, White County continues to be the hardest hit spot up there in Helen and Cleveland, but things are slowly coming back online. Hopefully they get all that power restored here soon, especially with all the cold out there. Now, looking at our regional satellite picture, you see all this back here? This is all snow and ice and freezing rain, man. This is just all over the place. Now, that is a big deal to see all that there, because when that cold air comes down, it just does not modify because of all that cold on the ground. So all that snow and stuff on the ground. So it's going to be quite nippy here as we go through the rest of this week. We'll get a slight break for a couple days, and I mean slight, like 40s, but still looking very cold for this weekend. Now, looking at our current temperatures here this afternoon, check out Blairsville at 21 degrees, over there in Dallas at 28 degrees, Covington at 36. So all across Georgia, quite nippy. A lot of areas did not get above freezing today as expected, but I do expect a little recovery for tomorrow after the bitterly cold temperatures. So let's look at the NAM, the short-term forecast. One thing I want to point out here for you guys, when you see this blue line here on the map, that is what we call our freezing line. 540. We kind of use that to measure whether we're going to have snow or not, because if you see that south and there's precipitation there, it's going to be all snow. Anything south of that, it's going to be rain. But we use that. When you see this many of them packed in here, that tells you it is very cold air. So anyways, we watch this go forward. It's quite nipping. And you're going to notice those other blue lines will start to lift back to the north. Now, what that means for us is our temperature modifying going into Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're not going to be quite as nippy, but still chilly as we go through the rest of the forecast period with temperatures running below normal. Now, going beyond Thursday and going into Friday, that's when things get interesting. We're going to look at the European model here as we're looking at the same model. Let me take this all the way up until Friday, as we just looked at the short term. So as we go into Friday, watch what happens here as this thing starts to come on down. And you get this little disturbance kind of riding in from the west. That's what's setting up a little bit of that snow there across Alabama. Little disturbance there. And then we got some energy diving down this way as well. We're going to get what we call cyclogenesis. It's a fancy word for basically meaning we're going to get low pressure to form, okay? So we're going to get that low to form in here, and when it does, it blows up big time. Looks what happens here. The heights crash. When we say that, the cold air is really coming all the way down to the surface. It's going to squeeze the atmosphere like a big sponge, and it's going to give us a possibility of some snows there. Look at that across Georgia, the end of the Carolinas there. Now, wherever this low forms is critical. If it's too far off the coast, we don't get nothing, just a bunch of cold. If it comes back to the west, its impact on Georgia will be more significant. Right now, it's mostly just the eastern areas. Both the European and the GFS are kind of showing that, and then it kind of rolls on off. It blows up big time and then moves on out to sea. So we're going to be quite nippy here going into next week. The cold temperatures are going to stay, and going into this weekend, we may go from Friday till Monday with a lot of areas below 32 degrees. Yep, it's going to be quite nippy. So here's our forecast map. Let's go take a look at this as we got to go through the week ahead. Watch that little timestamp there at the top. This is from our friends at the National Weather Service. As we go on through here Into Tuesday, we're going to have a cold start. We got high pressure there in control here across the southeast. At least the winds will let up, at least briefly. But as we go forward here, going into Wednesday, very quiet, got high pressure there. Again, the temperatures will modify for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then Friday, we'll have a few more clouds. We'll see what this little disturbance does down here along the Gulf. We're going to see what this cold air does coming down and see if we're going to get something to form off the coast or not. Those are a lot of ABCs that got to happen first, but we'll see what happens here. And then you see there along the coast. And you're also going to notice here on going into Saturday and Sunday, you notice these lines in here. These are isobars, lines of equal pressure. And the European is actually diving both Saturday and Sunday with it being so cold where the wind chills all below zero across most of North Georgia. All below zero. We're talking, and I'm not talking a little bit either. I'm talking 5, 10, 15 below zero. We'll see what happens. We got a little while there. I wasn't going to show that just yet. Wait till we get a little bit closer, but it could be quite nippy into the weekend. Stays cold into Sunday. At least the winds let up a little bit by Sunday, later into Sunday. And then Monday, still cold, but the temperature should begin to modify a bit as we go into the early next week. So here's our forecast for Gainesville for tomorrow, 38-14. It's going to be sunny, and frigid. I got snow in the brain right now. So looking at these overnight lows, again, these are about as cold almost as 2022's December temperatures. So very cold out there. Single digits across a lot of the North Georgia mountains into the low teens. Again, a little bit of wind out there too. So it could be a little bit of wind chill out there. So be careful out there. And then daytime highs, a little bit of recovery from today's. We'll see some 30s and some 40s out there, but still well below normal for this time of year. Here we go, the regional perspective. Again, the temperature's recovering a little bit here across the southeast, but still nippy. Looking at 39 there in Atlanta, 40 in Jackson, 32 in Memphis, 50 in Jacksonville, 43 in Columbia. Again, abundant sunshine, but again, very cold. Here's the 7-day forecast. I do not have snow in the forecast just yet. Okay, I think the Weather Service was putting a slight chance in there for Friday night. Going to wait and see what happens till we get a little bit closer. But the one thing I do want to point out is we do briefly recover there for Wednesday and Thursday. But look what happens as we go into Saturday and Sunday. We're talking about temperature staying below freezing sometime Friday evening going into that night and stays there until we get to Monday. So again, a prolonged period there, 60-plus hours of below 32-degree temperatures, and we have not seen anything like that again since December of 2022. So very cold, very nippy weather here moving in this week. Relatively dry for the most part outside of that one little disturbance and that possibility for a little snow. In fact, the dry weather looks like it stays in place here for the next couple of weeks. So unfortunately, we do need more rain. The drought conditions are still going to be prevalent there, and those lakes continue to fall because we just have not been getting rain on a regular basis here across our area. Again, I appreciate you guys checking us out here on the YouTube channel. If you like what you see and you appreciate this report, please, by all means, hit that subscribe button. And as always, hit that notification bell. A little lesson I learned from a previous page. If you don't get folks to hit that notification bell, you will never get alerted on my updates. That's just the YouTube rule. All right. Anyway, that's y'all's update for now. Be good, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.